the National League. 13 teams in serious competition to represent the banner in the World Series. Too many? Okay, it might be more like 10 or 11. Everyone's still pissy at the Dodgers, but come on. They won't strangle our hopes and dreams for another few months. Just ignore the drums of another work stoppage in the distance and worry about the baseball. Beautiful, beautiful baseball. Unless you're in Pittsburgh or Colorado. Or a few other places. If it weren't for their World Series a few years ago, I feel like Braves fans would storm the Battery and burn it all to the ground. Charging into the offices and publicly flogging Alex Anthopoulos and Brian Snitker for crimes against their beloved team. I thought the Orioles were having a season from hell. Good Lord, Atlanta told them to hold their vintage bottle of Coca-Cola. Perhaps that bottle can hold all the injuries in their starting rotation. Everyone with a dam's pretty much gone. Sale, Schwellenbach, Alvarez, Reynaldo Lopez. Elder's lost in the mound. Smith-Shawver got TJ. Spencer Strider still trying to return to peak form. Combine that with the complete mess of an offensive approach, you get disaster. Michael Harris levels of disaster. And the shit list continues on. 13 straight losses limping well into July. A god-awful resume on the road. Albies' power sapped by the Monstars. The prize Urickson Profar finally debuting after a PED suspension. Somehow booing him makes him more beloved than Alex Verdugo ever was. Alex Anthopoulos made all the wrong moves and it blew up in his face. Or should I say barely made any at all. Those who sit on their laurels have a hard time restarting. Ah yes, the rebuild of rebuilds. It's unfortunately another push back to square one with another young core that develops and gestates with time. There have been some good strides. Kyle Stowers has emerged as a core piece of the team, thank you Baltimore. Not so much success at first base or with Agustin Ramirez. To be fair, most of the year simply let the prospects develop and just go from there. So you can't really judge their awful record with much scrutiny. But then there's Sandy Alcantara. You hope that he can return to form, but it's definitely not looking like it with how they're teeing off him like a retiree at a golf course. Gary Perez is at least having more success in the mound in his return, limited sample size notwithstanding. Max Meyer's unfortunately off to have hip surgery. Brian Weathers is out too. That terrible pitching core's probably gonna get worse. You know the drill. Sell off pitching at the deadline and leverage a weak market into more prospects. Wait a second, when the hell did the Marlins go on a massive tear? Did someone pull a prank on my script? The Mets seem to have an inverse relationship with Juan Soto's performance. When he doesn't hit to his optimal form, Queens is dominating and on a white-hot start through 30 games. When Soto starts raking like his exorbitant salary demands, New York seems to oddly struggle. It's a very strange phenomenon. Probably overthinking it since they're still a legitimate playoff contender, but when things start to slide a bit into the break, you get a little concerned about the future. Why are they struggling? Not just with the offense returning to earth. All of their pitchers are dead. Look at this list. Look at it! How many arms are out of commission right now? Griffin Canning randomly tore his Achilles, for fuck's sake! A team with this much talent getting swept by the Pirates? Getting their asses kicked in all 3 games? Breathe, I'm probably overreacting. Polar Bears crushing bombs again and the pitching staff is strong. Well, whatever remains of it. Pray for no more injuries. And the second coming of Grimace. It's their only hope. Turmoil of a team close to the precipice. What's gonna get them over the top? Phillies are a very good team, but their questions were never in the regular season. They're in October, so despite their divisional competitiveness, there are still many questions to answer. Are they the road warriors of May or the homesickness of June? Do they hit bombs like Schwarber, or... honestly, he's the only one still hitting with true authority. All-star Zach Wheeler's a beast. That's why the rotation will always be a force to be reckoned with. It's a nice distraction from the season of hell for Nolan. But Jesus Luzardo after tweaking his stretch mechanics? Not so much. There's still faith in the guy from the organization, though. I don't necessarily know if I have faith in some of the gloves featured in the field. They might have to load up on more bullpen times. Alvarado got nabbed with PEDs and is suspended. If I want cheese, it better not be Romano. Trends are pointing towards more disappointment unless a few tweaks are made. I'd be careful. If they fail to make it to the dance, they might want more about Christopher Sanchez not making the All-Star game. Him getting robbed of it or not. The whole point of a rebuild is to eventually get out of the rebuilding phase. Don't get too pissy to try to deal with the same damn thing for a half-decade. I just wish you had more to show for it than the return in the Soto trade. Seriously, that's about 90% of their team. James Wood's been a revelation. The debuts of Hassel III and House. Mackenzie Gore and C.J. Abrams being studs. And as I said, there isn't much else. Slightly better than Puke Armbarn will blow any big leads the offense creates. Shit's more useless than Congress. It's as if the whole team went out gambling before games and showed up hungover throughout June. How else do I describe an 11-game losing streak? With joy? Fuck no, you purge the elements that have been coasting along for years. Not just Davey, but Mike Rizzo too. I'd cling on to 2019 harder. It might be a while longer before a chance like it comes again. Now Davey and Rizzo can join their newest jersey sponsor, KARP. Now this was what I was expecting out of the Cubbies last year. Team re-emerging as a contender in the NL Central. It just took a bit for the systems to update. You know that takes a while to do on a computer. Patch configured their offense to make them a top 5 squad. Wrigleyville has the right to bear arms with talent, aggression on the bases, and hitting prowess to spare. PCA flashing the glove so often he has to report to the authorities when within 500 feet of a library. Cal Tucker, even if not extended, is crushing bombs in the 2023 Bellinger vintage. 8 home runs in a game. Against those fucking Cardinals. It's beautiful. With a lineup like this, great fielding all around, there's little that can stop them. Only themselves, if I'm being honest. If they collapse in another September, I'll be beside myself. That's how cursed this franchise is. You know why? Justin Steele's out for the season. They need another ace. Oh, wonderful. So it appears that even the steady hand of Tito can't manage to get a hold on the Reds. What do you think the main issue is this year? Like Cincy, you'd be lucky to find a consistent answer. Game to game, at bat to at bat, situation to situation, you never know what to expect from them. Either a bomb off the bat of Ellie Dela Cruz or having a nuke go off in your face. Usually a whiff by Jamer Candelario or CES. They're still within striking distance of a wild card, but you just wonder if this team's gonna need an overhaul to fix their woes. Hunter Green's really good. When he's healthy. Andrew Abbott's quietly been one of the top left-handed starters in the NL this season. But he's only one man. They dominate when they play Cleveland or Pittsburgh. 19 blown leads all year, 5 of them in the 9th alone. That's how you piss away seasons. And Alexis Diaz has been sent to the pitcher's hospital in LA. Hell, even their pitching mound's apparently inconsistent too. Sometimes it doesn't meet MLB standards. Fortunately, the team tends to meet mediocre league standards. I'm not that cool. What to do with a Brew Crew that's good but has a nasty reputation in the playoffs? That is the real question. We've been over this situation before. They aren't slouches. Milwaukee has talent. Promising youngsters like Bryce Terang emerging as regulars in the lineup. But there's just something missing. It isn't even Devin Williams, their bullpen's still excellent. It's in their starting rotation. But there might be salvation. Let me tell you about a man named Jacob Mizorowski. God incarnate. Rising from the minors to sling triple-digit heat effortlessly. The kind of help an injury-riddled rotation needs. Freddie Peralta doesn't have to do it alone. The consistent yet not overpowering hitting core, the Brewers are in a situation they've honestly paid a mortgage on. Could do something in the future, but will more or less break your heart in some fashion. Punishment is Aaron Savale's useless ass banished to baseball hell. The White Sox. Now comes the true challenge. Securing winning records against NL Central teams other than the Reds. A friendly reminder that this is supposed to be the year where the Pirates emerge as a contender with Skeens on a team-friendly deal. That shit ain't happening because they're the Cleveland Browns of baseball. Completely inept. What emphasizes it more than Skeens himself? The best peripherals for a starter since Taft was president, and elite performances pretty much every start of his. 4 wins all year. 4. With an ERA under 2. Oh, Mitch Keller's in his 2010 Ross Ohlendorf arc. It's because their bats are fucking garbage. 2025 and their best hitter is Andrew McCutchen? What the hell else are we supposed to cheer for? The eternal enigma that is O'Neal Cruz? Brian Reynolds turning into the modern Jason Kendall albatross? Tommy Pham after LASIK? Great, Derek Chilton's useless ass is canned. Too little, too late. David Bednar found his mojo while Dennis Santana somehow pulled elite pitching out of his ass, yet the Pirates couldn't hit the world's largest punching bag. Rumors of selling run rampant again. We're gonna tear most of it down a half-decade after a mass teardown. No wonder why Yinzers from Allegheny to the Mon are ready to burn things. You aren't gonna help Skeens trade him to a real team ASAP. It's gonna happen anyway, just rip the damn Band-Aid off. No matter the objective of the Cardinals, whether it be contending or rebuild, one reality is steadfast. They will reach the illustrious 83 and 79 Super Bowl. Terrible April? Doesn't matter. Their May will lead them back with the power of some incredible bullshit. Early June bringing them back to reality? You wish you had such closure. Sad thing is it's put them into a bind. Overperforming and on the verge of contention has everyone wondering what they'll do. They try to add to a team that'll probably get smacked in the wild card or hope that Jordan Walker and Ivan Herrera staying healthy will work. Now turn the drama into a fire pit and you have potential chaos brewing at the deadline. How will Mozeliak and Bloom coexist? John's out here saying certain players won't be traded, but Chaim may have other plans. Before you say anything, yes, Arenado is still here. Brian Helsley masks what is really just hopes and prayers in the pan. Same as Miles Michaels. Meet the new whipping boy of St. Louis. Everyone wants him dangling on the arch, but who the hell knows if he's out? It's a problem, but I guess you could call it a good problem. The discontent in Cardinal land is real, however. I don't envy the transition of power dynamic. Properly explain the D-backs there are the home run thief. Stealing away hope and momentum like live baseball's any chance possible. Unfortunately, they can't simply ban this dreaded menace like that fan. They can extend Ketel Marte and pay him the big bucks he deserves, but it can only do so much. It's the same thing as last year. These boys can hit. They got 6 guys with double-digit homers and nearly everyone's hitting for power. Your team pitching's an enigma that cannot be solved. Tied for the 4th most runs in baseball. Does this team have a bullpen that can reliably hold games? Does it have to be Shelby Miller in the ironic reunion of an age? Did Kevin Ginkel get any help defensively? At all? They replaced Justin Martinez and AJ Puck. Merrill Kelly's been the only reliable starter of the bunch. And the coup de grace. The Golden Goose needed Tommy John. Burns got burned at the altar. Frustrating season only gets more frustrating. So close to getting back to another shot, yet continually derailed. 500 is a dreaded disease that cannot be overcome. What the hell's gonna cure it? Trading Eugenio Suarez for a top-tier pitcher? The Rockies saw last year's White Sox and told them to hold their overpriced microbrew. There is bad, and then there's Colorado, competing with the 1895 Louisville Colonels for worst start in the season. They weren't at the point of breaking the loss record for a season back in May. They blow right past it. I honestly don't know how Bud Black lasted this long, but he was given a mercy killing. More Nepo babies for the Nepo team. Dick Monfort's son hired as the new executive VP. Clint Hurdle got dragged out of his cave to coach hitting. Charlie Monfort is a new set of sober eyeballs. Drafting Matt Holliday's highly talented son. Who fucking cares if the team's terrible? The suckers they call fans are still showing up. You do have something in common with last year's White Sox. Being unable to draft higher than 10th next year due to lottery rules. Eat shit, Dick. Dodgers are a juggernaut. Is anyone all that shocked by this? Raise your hand if you are. Glad you did. The firing squad's waiting for you in the next room. Paying premium money for these bats in the 2040s. And they're as good as advertised, even with Muncie's injury. And Conforto going to complete shit. It's the best team government green can buy. You'd be laughing hysterically if they weren't this good. For all the lording over their divisional brethren, the blood cost must be paid. You know the drill. The league course of pitchers calls for at least half of them to be called by the injury bug by June. Rookie Sasaki hasn't been the same this year and is now on the 60-day. Snell, Glasnow, Trinan, and Evan Phillips TJ surgery. Who gives a shit? They'll still get Paul Skeens at the deadline or something because this is how they roll. Oh wait, the Dodgers already have that with Ohtani pitching again. Though getting swept by the Astros and Brew Crew has me intrigued. Losing 7 in a row? We can only get so hard. By the way, congrats to Kershaw on getting 3,000 Ks. Something feels off. I'm not dismissing the Padres. They're a solid team. Yet all I see are blemishes. The great home record's diminished by miserable road performances. Their run differential's quite underwhelming in spite of their high-end talent. Jackson Merrill is damn good when he isn't battling injury. Xander Bogaerts looks competent until you think about what he's paid. They're a solid team, but imperfect. You just can't get excited about them. They have no depth. Only Colorado and Pittsburgh have scored less runs in the NL. The bullpen suddenly went from a strength to blowing endless leads. Well, the Padres are lucky that Gavin Sheets embraced his role as a DH to fill that spot up. Trotting out fucking Jason Hayward, Yuli Gurriel, and Martin Maldonado in the year of our Lord 2025 goes to Peter Seidler's limit since the purse strings are tight. Dylan Cease and Michael King probably aren't long for this franchise. Thanks St. Peter above for the endless pool of top prospects that come out of nowhere, or else San Diego would be running bankrupt. LA always looms over their shoulder. Corny Coldplay jokes won't be enough. One major domino falls, it might go haywire. No, I was wondering if I had the wrong stance on the Giants back in May. That white-hot April of theirs had them reminding me of that insane 2021 run. Things have calmed down to around a 500 pace since that time, but honestly, that might be enough to sneak them into the wild card. Logan Webb and Robbie Ray is a 1-2 punch that buries hitters where they stand. The bullpen? Unbelievable. The fielding? Damn solid. But it's not enough. San Fran keeps making mental mistakes. slipping away from glory itself, kind of like Verlander without a win in July. A new mark is being made to get the Giants back to the promised land. And Matt Williams' aggression as third base coach is needed. Welcome, Rafael Devers. Third base is your position? Well, it ain't anymore. You're going to first and you're going to have a smile on your face playing it. His elite bat is what they desire. Well, it'll eventually get there, they hope. It's better than Lamont Wade Jr., it works. Would be nice if Adames' bat and glove came around, too. If this fails, they're going to be eating a lot of salary. We'll say it's at least a noble decision to make.
AL rallied in the game. NL has rallied in the swinging. With the hat trick! Look out, Chop House! National League takes the lead 4-3.
Unbelievable.